Yes, guys. Hello and welcome back to the Spurs-Related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well. Today, we bring you some very sad and emotional news to do with Tottenham Hotspur captain Heung Min Son, obviously absolute legend of the club, has announced today in the press conference in South Korea that he will be leaving Tottenham Hotspur before the season starts. We're pretty sure it's going to be LAFC as per a lot of sources saying that he's agreed terms and everything else. But we thought we'd come live to discuss this and whether you guys are feeling a little bit sad today going through all those, montages and compilations of the great man. It's a weird one because we kind of expected him to leave, but also when the news comes, it kind of hits you a little bit differently. But guys, let us know in your comments below if you think it's the right decision for Sonny to move at this time. I personally do think it is, but we'll get into things. I'm joined alongside as well, Frank Thomas, aka Thomas Frank's AI son. Frank, mate, how you doing? How you feeling?
I don't know how I'm feeling, to be honest. It's really odd. I was up when the news broke last night. And it was kind of a bit of a sort of it was obvious. I think it felt like it was coming, and it feels at the right time. We'll get into that, but it still doesn't really, ease the feeling of it at all. I mean, I started supporting Tottenham when I was probably 7 or 8, which would be, I reckon, the year or two before Sonny joined. So I only really know Tottenham with Sonny, and so it's a bit of it's a bit odd, but yeah.
Oh, look at that, mate. You only know Sonny at Tottenham. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, only 2 or 3 7 or 8 when he joined. But let's bring up the how it kind of got announced. Thomas Frank on Sonny potentially playing his final game. He said it's very clear that Sonny will start and lead the team out as captain. If it is the last game for Sonny, what a place to do it. Here in front of his home fans, it could be a beautiful ending. I mean, it's quite fitting, Frank, that he's going to be out in South Korea for his last game. And of course, before that, Sonny said very, very slowly and emotionally felt like he was trying to hold back the tears. Of course, he said, "I have asked to leave Spurs. It's the most difficult decision of my life. I came to North London as a kid. I leave as a young man." And I thought that was quite a nice thing to say. Absolutely, spot on there. I just think, I don't know. He obviously knows that it's probably the right time. I think the fans probably mostly will know it's the right time. Is there still a player in Son? I think so. When you play him in a certain way, I just think in the last 2 or 3 seasons, unfortunately, maybe 2 seasons, we've seen a little bit of a dip in Sonny. And I actually go back to, well, I guess it's his last hat-trick for Tottenham, when he got dropped by Antonio Conte in 2020. I want to say 2022, maybe it was 2023. We beat Leicester 6-2. And I think Maddison scored a penalty for Leicester that day, actually. I think we went 2-0 down or 2-1 down. And Son came off the bench because he wasn't in great form. And he absolutely came on and was electric, scored 2 or 3 absolute bangers. And you just thought, wow, yeah, there is a player there. And sort of when you round him up a little bit, when you get under his skin, he then just performs at this incredible level. And obviously in the last couple of seasons, yes, his numbers haven't quite been there, but still did score quite a few goals. I'm sure we'll get the goals up maybe at some point. But yeah, Frank, would you agree? I think it's probably the fitting time, winning Tottenham's first trophy in 17 long years, first European trophy in 41, lifting that as club captain. And I feel like it's the perfect moment. You're like, amazing Spurs career, wins the trophy. We wouldn't want to see that then sort of taint the image if he started playing really badly. So I do really believe it is a fitting time to leave. And I think obviously wish Sonny all the best, at LAFC. I'll be tuning in for those games if it is LAFC. Anything sort of to add there, Frank?
Just kind of, again what you said, that it's felt like this is probably going to happen for a while. It has appeared that he's probably not the happiest at Spurs in the last year or so. I think probably since that 22-23 season when he got benched by Conte, and you've started to see the decline slowly. A lot of then Banger's first season, obviously we lost Kane. That didn't help him, I imagine. And then this year, it's become very apparent that he probably isn't able to compete at the top level of the Premier League and the Champions League anymore, and that's really sad. That's just natural with age. That's what happens, and that's life. So yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I'm delighted that it ended the way it did, in that he got to lift the European trophy as captain. And I mean, as I say, he goes down as one of Tottenham's biggest ever legends. I would argue more so than Harry Kane, because he stayed. He was always fit. He always stayed. He was always there to help Tottenham, and there was never any noise that he could go. Even before we lost Kane, there was always noise that he could go to Manchester City or Manchester United. There were always these rumours. There's never been anything with Son. Son's always stayed put. He's very happy, and he wants to be part of it. And so I'm glad that he got his trophy at the back end of it.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, could have gone to arguably a bigger club, arguably won more trophies, and stayed very loyal, and incredible loyalty. Such a humble and respectful guy, and he's an example to those sort of kids growing through and coming through sort of the academy and at other teams as well, because he's just an example. He's a role model. He's you pretty much always see him happily, bubbly. When he's interviewed, he never gives a bad interview. He's always very just such a nice guy. And along with that, an incredible player, especially at peak, scoring incredible goals. I mean, we'll get into some of the stats, Frank, but it's just a very emotional day, but also a nice day to sort of look back and celebrate on his Spurs career. Simon Cohen always in here saying, big up boys, thanks Sonny. Absolutely, mate, absolutely. But guys, let us know your comments and your thoughts on the news, and of course, do you think it's the right time, and also what's your favourite Sonny goal, which we'll bring up a few in just a minute. But yeah, as per this BR Football post, 10 years at Spurs, 454 games played, 173 goals, 101 assists, and one, of course, very special Europa League trophy. Spurs legend. I think that's look at those numbers, Frank. By the way, 274 goal contributions in 454 games. It is not a bad return, is it?
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, could you imagine if we ended up buying Saido Berahino instead at the time? I mean, that was the one that they were, they turned down and went for Sonny instead. And I mean, that would have been how different things could have been. I mean, those numbers are unbelievable. I would argue that he's certainly, what I've seen, one of the best finishers in the Premier League ever. From what I've seen, just you knew, other than when we played City last year and obviously the Arsenal title was on the line, you knew that if he went through on goal, he was probably scoring. He was just so composed, and so just he knew where the corners were, and he was going to put it as far in those corners as he could. He was an unbelievable finisher and a very, very top player, who sadly, just as he's got older, he's lost a bit of pace, a bit of sharpness, and has declined slightly. But no, he was certainly under Pochettino and Jose Mourinho especially. I think that was probably when Sonny hit his peak, actually, under Mourinho. And Conte when he won that Golden Boot, and he became a proper finisher, an inside forward that scored a lot of goals. And yeah, I mean, just under those three, he was excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the Golden Boot. I mean, I think it was 2021-22. I believe. Am I right in saying, Frank, that was when he capped it off against Norwich? He scored a belter away at Carrow Road,
yeah, that's the one.
And I think he drew with Salah. It was kind of gutting that he didn't sort of finish at the top on his own. But an incredible achievement, and like you said, his numbers in those seasons were just absolutely phenomenal. Let's get up exactly how many he did score that season. Yeah, 21-22, 35 matches, 23 goals, 7 assists. That's not bad, is it, Frank? 30 goal contributions in 35 matches in the Premier League.
And not one penalty either, which is even more impressive.
Was it really no penalties?
Yeah, and Salah had 5 or 6, I think. He had none, which makes just it even more sensational, really.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, 100%. And I mean, even some of the other seasons, you go with like 2022. You say like he's been off it for 2 seasons, but I said that. But like 2023, 2024 matches played 35, goals 17, assists 10. Like that's still a very good return. Like 27 goal contributions in 35 appearances.
I mean,
and
I think
was only in 2023, 2024.
I think even this season, I could be wrong, and I think I'm right, or there or thereabouts. That in all competitions, I think he got more goals and assists than any other player at Tottenham this season.
Wow. Yeah,
or
I mean, I haven't got the full amount. I can probably get it up. But 7 goals, 9 assists in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, I'm pretty sure in all competitions he got 25 or 26, which would make him the most at Tottenham. I think he was, or maybe he was second to Johnson, but he was there or thereabouts. And we've also sort of spoken about him this year that he's finished or whatever. That those numbers. I mean, his general performances have been poor, but those numbers are still very good.
100%. 100%, mate. I completely agree. A little bit more context. Well, as you can see, Frank and I were discussing offline. What was the hardest news to be woken up to? Harry Kane leaving the club or Heung Min Son? I mean, compare them as you will, but I think we came to the conclusion it's probably Sonny, just because we kind of knew Kane was going to join a bigger club at some point, because it was always that rumours about Man City, that gentleman's agreement back in the season or 2 before he actually did leave. I think it was 2021, and then ended up staying, then left in 2023 for Bayern Munich. But yeah, as soon as Ange joined, he lost Kane. And as soon as Thomas Frank joins, he loses his captain, Heung Min Son, which brings me on to my next point, actually, Frank, is who takes that captaincy now? Because that's going to be, I don't believe that's been announced yet. So you'd assume it's between Christian Romero, who we'd love to be the captain, in my opinion, because it means he'd stick around. He wanted to be a captain, as mentioned. I think it was in an interview a couple months ago, which is why we were saying, would he ever be captain of Atletico Madrid? Would that tempt him? For me, I think Christian Romero is the one that makes the most sense. Maybe you could argue James Maddison, but I just don't think. I think Christian Romero is the real leader out of the two.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need someone to kind of suggest that Paulinho and whatever. You need someone with a backbone. You need someone that's going to, when the going gets tough, is going to sort of drag you through it. And I'm not sure James Maddison does that. I think Romero's the obvious shot. I think it's going to be Christian Romero. If Romero's not there at points, Vicario, I think, will probably be in with a shout. He gave the armband in, I think it was the Luton game, to Mickey van der Ven. So whether he's there or thereabouts, because you've got to lead with obviously vocally and whatever, but also on the pitch, you've got to be a player that's, you inspire others, and I think both Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero do that, and are 2 prime examples of what they should be. I think certainly this season, I think it's probably going to be that sort of back 3 of Vicario and Romero, van der Ven. Romero will be the number 1. Those 2 might be the vice captains. Maybe Maddison in there as well. Longer term, I think it's got Lucas Bergvall written all over it, but not yet.
If he doesn't end up going to Real Madrid or Barcelona, mate. So you think Romero captain and Maddison vice? Who else vice did you say?
Vicario and van der Ven, I think, will be there or thereabouts. Because I just think that Vicario was part of the group last year that was successful, so I don't think they'll change that too much. Same with Maddison. And I think van der Ven they'll just bring in as almost a Son replacement in that leadership group, because he leads in a number of ways brilliantly well.
Sure, absolutely, mate. And let's talk about. Well, guys, first of all, if you're watching on repeat, let me know in the comments below who you think will be club captain. And while you're there, smash the thumbs up. There's only a few likes on the video. I think in terms of going live Saturday noon wasn't our best shout. Obviously, people are probably very busy, but I'm sure a lot of you will watch on repeat. So please do, guys, smash the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to Spurs Related. We need 1 subscriber for 3,700, and then we're on the way to 4,000. So I really appreciate all the support. The support on last night's live stream with George Achillia went really, really well. We got nearly 200 likes on that video, 5,000 views. Really appreciate all your support on that live stream yesterday, where we went through obviously the transfer updates. Tottenham transfer updates with George Achillia, went through a bit of tactical analysis with Frank as well, which was really, really a great watch. So go and check that out after. Let's talk about very quickly, Frank, your favourite Sonny goal, because there's a few. The one that stands out massively for me is this one against Burnley in 2019, where he ran through the entire team and literally from his own half, dribbled past about 6 players and then slotted it home in true Sonny fashion. I mean, the other thing we haven't even mentioned, mate, is his finishing ability was just incredible. Like the way when Son's 1-on-1, you're like, yeah, goal. Unless it's against Man City for the Premier League title in 2 years ago, where he missed it, I swear, on purpose to make sure Arsenal didn't win the league. Absolute legend for that as well. But no, I think for me, the goal against Burnley in 2019, where he ran through the whole team, is at the top. This is an honourable mention against Chelsea back at Wembley in 2017, I believe that will have been, when he went down the wing and cut in and just absolutely swazzed it round Kepa, which was a great goal in the Premier League. And another one for me, I think this is my top 2, this one, which was when he was on the left-hand side at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in lockdown in 2020 against Arsenal. He cut inside and absolutely swazzed it top right. It was unstoppable, an absolute rocket. And we won that day, I believe, 2-0 in an empty stadium. Or I think that was the game where they put like 200 fans in the stadium or something like that. Maybe 1,000 fans.
Yeah,
I think I can see a few in the background. But go on, Frank. What's your favourite one, mate?
I mean, that one, I think that one's incredible. The Arsenal one.
Yeah.
The Chelsea one is amazing. The Burnley one is fantastic. I think the defending on the Burnley ones, I know it won the Puskás Award. The defending sometimes I think is a bit weak, and so it, as brilliant as it is, sometimes falls behind the Chelsea one in my eyes. But I mean, all 3 of those are incredible. I loved when we went away to Manchester City in the Champions League and we knocked them out, and he scored 2 in about a minute. I mean, the second one where he cuts in, bends it in the top corner. There was the time when him and Kane just kept setting him up, and that, under Mourinho, and we went away to Burnley and we won 1-0, and Sonny scored a header from a Kane goal, from a Kane cross, Kane flick on.
Did you mention the one? Sorry, mate. Did you mention the one at Wembley against West Ham? I think it was in.
Unbelievable goal.
Do you know which one I mean? It was an absolute 40-yard thunderbolt. Was that in the league or the Premier League? I feel like it was a Carabao Cup. Could be wrong.
I think that was the League One, because I remember we played them in the Cup at Wembley, but I think that was a League One. And he literally you could pick out so many goals over his time that you just go, that's an unbelievable goal. I think this one here, the Arsenal one, is actually the best finish of every goal he's ever scored. As far as a finish goes, I think that's the best, because it's the moment as well that it would have been great if it was in front of 60,000 instead of 500 or whatever.
Of course.
But just
I feel like he did it quite a lot, though. I feel like he hit that kind of shot where he absolutely swazzes it top right. I feel like he did that quite a few times. I remember when the game I said he came on against Leicester and scored a hat-trick.
Did that a few times, yeah.
That was an insane goal. He also did one against West Ham, as we said. There was a couple he did where I think it was one for his 100th Premier League goal I saw on Twitter earlier. And again, it was fairly similar to this one, a bit closer, I think, more edge of the box. But again, he just whipped it and it literally went perfectly top corner, top right.
He did it. Another one against Leicester. I remember he got one against Brighton, which was arguably actually better than this Arsenal one. That was an unbelievable finish. Another finish that I love, I don't think we've got it here, but whether or not people remember it, so if you don't, go and look for it, is we beat Everton 6-2. I think it was that game around Christmas time. And he took it round, I think Pickford and whoever it was at the back for Everton may have been a mistake. and he got it in a really tight angle, and he just placed it so it was an open goal, but from like the side of the box, and he placed it so perfectly in the far top corner, just as if it was easy. I think, I mean, I could have stood there all day and tried that, and I don't think we've gone anywhere close to the top corner. I mean, it was just so easy for him, and that's another one that I really love.
Yeah, another 6-2 scoreline. We're good at them, aren't we? The one against Leicester, as I said, that was 6-2 as well, I think. Also won it in the FA Cup against Wickham. He did like a scissor kick from the back stick. That was incredible. I mean, guys, let us know in the comments below your favourite Sonny goal. Whack 2 comments in, actually. Do you think that's the right time for Sonny to leave? Obviously, sad news today. And your favourite Heung Min Son goal. Cantab's asking, do you think the club eased or pushed him out? It's a great question. I reckon it's a bit of both, because I think he had an offer from LAFC, which looks like, I mean, it's not announced yet, is it, Frank? But I think that's where he's going. And I think he's probably had an offer that's 2 or 3 seasons, 2 or 3 year contract, where he's essentially going to be the star man in one of the biggest states in the world, LA, well, actually, is LA a state? I'm making my geography sound horrendous here, Frank. But you know what I mean? Like, it's an incredible opportunity to be that star man in MLS. Obviously, you can't be the star man in MLS while Lionel Messi's there, but certainly up there, isn't he? When he goes over there, certainly brings a whole new audience. Clever for MLS to that league that's ever growing. So you've not only got massive interest worldwide from Messi and in South Korea as well, but you've got the Asian influence over there into America now. Very clever from LAFC as part of the MLS. I certainly will, when I go back to America, I certainly will be trying to get a ticket to sort of New York Red Bulls versus LAFC if I go to New York or something like that, and seeing Sonny there would be incredible. I just think going back to Cantab's question, I think also maybe Thomas Frank had a word with him and said, look, I'm going to be honest with you, you're not going to be in my starting 11 every single game. And maybe there was conversations about, being a fresh era, going into it with a new captain, a new mindset. I don't think they would have pushed him out. I would have hoped not. Like, we'll never know the true story probably. But I would like to think they didn't push him out, Frank. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they probably gave him that choice. I mean, I think they probably think it was the right time within the club to get rid. Maybe cash out. I don't know how much they're going to get. Whether it be a lot or not, I imagine it'll be 15-20 million quid. It ain't going to be life-changing amounts for Tottenham. So I imagine that they were probably okay with kind of whatever was going to happen. I think there was probably a mutual agreement a couple of months ago that it was probably going to come to an end now. And I think winning the Europa League only probably enhanced that. Just because, it was a nice way to go out. It was a good way for him to go out and leave, and it makes it now that bit more special. That was his last ever competitive game for Tottenham, and so I'm sure we'll be sitting there watching the Newcastle game this time tomorrow and hoping that he scores in his last game for Spurs, which it probably will be, as he captains them for the last time. But yeah, I imagine that it was probably a mutual decision that they came to. If so, more that Son probably thought it was time to go than Spurs getting rid.
Absolutely, I completely agree, mate. What a time to wrap things up. Lifting that trophy. Look how much it means to everyone. Look how much it meant to the fans. I mean, I was holding back the tears when we won that. I mean, such a long time, and for Heung Min Son, one of my favourite Spurs players of all time, to lift that trophy was super, super special. And as Cantab said, I guess after 10 years in rainy, cold England, moving to the sunny beaches, of course it's California. I don't know why I had a brain fart there, but California, unbelievable. What a place. I just think we'll wrap things up, Frank, very shortly, but how do you think he'll perform at LAFC? Because they're actually a decent team. They've got some, I don't want to make this MLS related, but they have got a decent team. And I think he's probably still we say he's people say he's fallen off or whatever. Yes, he's lost some of his pace, but I don't think he's lost that ability to be able to finish unbelievably. And in a league like the MLS, where the defending isn't quite the caliber of Premier League, obviously nowhere near, I think he's going to get a lot of goals. I think he's actually going to be really successful there, and he'll probably be one of the top scorers, to be honest with you. What do you think?
Oh, he'll score a boatload. He'll score a boatload over there, I think. Obviously, we'll play with Lloris again, which is nice. He'll score if he stays fit. He'll score a boatload over there because the quality is lower. Obviously, Bale was there for a little bit, so I'm sure he's probably had a chat with him. Lloris is obviously there now, and also, I saw him say that he wants to play in the World Cup next year, and that will be the main thing on his mind. So it's about getting himself fit, getting himself back in the best condition, I guess, over there to be an impactful player for South Korea next summer. So he'll score goals over there. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, good point about Bale as well. I forgot he was at LAFC, wasn't he? And he actually scored a couple important goals for them, then decided to retire and basically play golf full time. Don't blame him. The comparison's actually quite mad because Bale's 36 now, but I'm pretty sure he retired when he was 33 or 34 because it was about 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it? I don't think Sonny will retire that young, but he's 33, so I'm pretty sure they're going there at the same age, right?
Yeah. It's kind of the progression, isn't it? It feels like that was an older thing that players used to go to America as they got older, and then it kind of stopped a little bit, and players were going to Saudi Arabia, and China became a big one. But it's nice to see Messi's done it in the last couple of years, and Suarez and Busquets, whatever, and it's nice to see that Sonny's doing that as well.
Yeah, 100%. But as we said, guys, he's probably going to end up at LAFC. Fabrizio Romano tweeted saying, breaking news at 2 a.m. Heung Min Son has decided to leave Tottenham this summer. The player has informed Spurs management and also new manager Thomas Frank. Negotiations underway with MLS side LAFC after he was also approached by Saudi Arabia clubs in May. So MLS is now the most likely destination. I think we'll see that blossom and come into fruition in the coming days, to be honest with you. I think we'll see Sonny in that LAFC shirt after he's come back from that tour. And obviously, yes, guys, we have got Newcastle tomorrow at, I believe, 12 o'clock on Sunday, UK time. That is in Seoul, in South Korea. Be interesting, just very lastly, Frank, about that game. Obviously, like you said, he's going to captain the side. He's going to be a big part of that, and hopefully he scores. Newcastle obviously going through a bit of transition as well, potentially losing Alexander Isak. I know they're desperately trying to find the replacement if he does go. I saw today they bidded for Sesko, I believe it was, for £65 million. So clearly Liverpool feel strongly that they'll get him. I don't understand how Liverpool have unlimited money. That's another conversation because they've spent already about 300 mil and then they're happy to spend 100 and something on that Isak. I think Newcastle want 150 million for him, which is just bonkers. But anyway, not to make this again Newcastle related, but in terms of the game tomorrow, mate, what do you expect? And what's your score prediction? We'll do that as well.
I think it's an awkward one because I know it's only a friendly, but you can't. It's also not a charity. That sounds really bad because he's been, but you can't just play Sonny for 90 minutes and because it's his last. Because we actually have a season to focus on in the next year. We've got PSG in 2 weeks' time, and it's only our penultimate friendly. Not counting PSG as one, obviously. So you need to make sure that Odobert or Tell or these guys are involved because it's important that they learn this system and get used to playing more football and get in on what Thomas Frank wants to do. But I'm also all for giving Sonny the time. But I don't think he should be playing 90 minutes or anything tomorrow. I think if he plays 60, he captains it. I'm fine with that. But as I say, there's a fine line between doing a good gesture and letting him live it out or whatever, but also acting a bit like a charity and just playing him for the sake of playing him. Because, as I say, as much as the game is meaningless, friendlies are important to get your side ready for the new season, and Sonny's not going to be part of that side for the new season. So agreed. I don't think he'll play more than 60 odd minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just thinking if it would be 60 minutes. I think if he leaves the team out as captain, he won't come off at half time because they'll want to obviously give him the clap when he comes off. So I reckon, 50, 55, 60 minutes is about right. And obviously, can't just oh, you're leaving, see you later. We'd like to think we'd show some respect, give him the farewell he deserves, and also he needs to stay fit. Obviously, we need to focus more on Tottenham Hotspur, of course. We're Tottenham Hotspur, not Heung Min Son Hotspur, but at the same time, I think you're spot on, mate, and it'll be interesting to see. A couple more comments, and then we will wrap things up. THFC saying, great show again, guys. Love it. Really appreciate your support, mate, and everyone else in the chat. I know the numbers haven't been huge today, but I'm sure a lot of you will watch this offline. So please do me a massive, massive favor. Smash the like button. Let's see if we can get 100 likes on this stream. That would be really, really great. We will be, again, back tomorrow at DFSC. It was also saying Sonny, a legend, right time. Completely agree, as we said. Guys, before you all click off the video, please like the stream. Subscribe to Spurs Related if you are new, and we'll be back again tomorrow, maybe some analysis on the Newcastle United match, which will be an interesting watch at 12 p.m. Let us know your thoughts on this Sonny news. And guys, we will see you next time on Spurs Related. And remember, as always, come on you Spurs! Cheers, Sonny.